Now, one of the most common questions parents ask me is surprisingly simple. When should my child start learning to read? Now, sometimes the question sounds slightly different. Are they ready yet? Should we already be doing this? My friend's child is reading. Are we behind? And underneath all these questions sits the same quiet concern. I don't want to start too late, but I also don't want to push too early. Now, if you wondered this yourself, you're asking exactly the right question, because reading success is far less about age and much more about readiness. Now, today, I want to walk you through the signs that will tell you if your child is genuinely ready to begin learning to read. Not pressured readiness, not academic expectation, but true developmental readiness. Now, many parents expect readiness to arrive at a certain birthday, 4, 5, maybe 6 years old. But children develop reading foundations at very different rates. Two children born weeks apart may reach readiness months, even years apart, and that variation is completely normal. Reading depends on several underlying skills developing together. It's a real juggling act. So until those pieces align, instruction often feels like the effort you're putting in far outweighs the progress you're seeing. Now that's quite an emotional load for both parent and child. Before your child reads words, they develop listening skills. Now notice I didn't say listening abilities because unless there's some form of physical hearing impairment, their ability to hear is already hardwired and working very well the moment they're born. It's what they do with sounds that we're keeping an eye out for. Now, do they notice that some words rhyme? Do they enjoy repeating sounds? Now, this may sound crazy, but I still remember at the ripe age of 4 having a serious obsession with the word foot. Just the way it sounded made me laugh. I have no idea why. Now, you might notice your child having a similar fascination with the way a certain word sounds. They are, in a sense, playing with language. Now, these playful interactions are not distractions from reading. They are, in many ways, preparing for the next step. A child ready to read often shows curiosity not only about how words sound, but they will start to notice sounds within words. You may notice them asking, "What sound does that start with?" or experimenting with silly rhymes. These moments signal growing phonological awareness. Another readiness sign that has nothing to do with letters at all is attention. Can your child stay engaged in an activity for several minutes? Can they muster up the strength and courage to try again after challenging moments without visible frustration or anxiety? See, reading requires sustained mental effort at first, especially before certain skills are mastered to the point where they are automatic. Children who tolerate small challenges without frustration often transition more smoothly into early reading instruction. Now, will you be able to spot these little signs? Yes. Your intuition as a parent will not let you down. Listen to your gut. You know your child's attention span better than anyone else. Now, clear speech development also supports readiness. Children don't need perfect pronunciation, but they benefit from hearing and producing distinct sounds within words. Now, if spoken language is still rapidly developing, reading instruction may feel confusing temporarily. Often, a little more time allows underlying language skills to stabilize naturally. This is especially true in bilingual households where a child is simultaneously learning completely different speech patterns, vocabulary, tones, inflection, and so on. Now, while a lot of that might come naturally, that doesn't mean that we can add to the cognitive load just yet. Now, one of the strongest readiness signals is curiosity. Children begin noticing print spontaneously. They ask what signs say. They recognize familiar logos. They pretend to read their favorite books, even mumbling, under their breath. And I've seen even some children gliding their fingers across the sentences. It's great acting, but it shows a real interest. And this newfound interest in books is telling us that motivation is beginning to sprout. And motivation is like jet fuel that turns a tiny spark into a thirst for learning that dramatically accelerates progress. Now, I want to talk about a sign that often goes unnoticed by many parents. A sign that begs the question, does reading feel safe? Now, you might be thinking, it sounds like reading is like a high-risk sport. No one is falling off a mountain of books today. But what we are talking about here is emotional readiness. This is when your little one approaches learning or any new tasks without an overwhelming fear of failure. Now, if a child becomes anxious quickly during a structured task, it may be best to wait slightly longer, as this will allow enough time to gather just enough self-confidence to try something new, feel successful, and want to try again. When we are patient and wait, even a week or two can make a world of difference. Now, this often produces better long-term outcomes. Confidence supports learning far more effectively than teaching them with any sense of urgency. Now, with that said, readiness does not mean knowing the entire alphabet, writing real nice and neat, or reading independently in a corner somewhere. Many capable readers begin with only a partial letter knowledge. What matters is the ability to connect even a handful of sounds, maintain a respectable degree of focus, and remain curious enough to want to expand their knowledge and skills. When the signs of readiness are there, it may be time for formal reading instruction to begin. Now, does that mean busting out the flashcards, worksheets, and deep diving straight into phonics? And not if we want their courage to shrink back and develop a bad taste for reading before the train even leaves the station. We need to start gently. Keep your sessions short, 5-10 minutes tops. Incorporate games and activities that will draw them into literacy in a way that will make this transition a journey of immediate wins, where every achievable goal is met with almost guaranteed success. Now, the goal is not rapid progress. It's building positive association with reading itself. Children who enjoy early experiences persist longer when challenges arise later. This is another way that learning to read feels safe. Now, parents sometimes worry that if they wait too long, they risk their child falling behind. And there's nothing paranoid about that. It's a legitimate concern. But beginning before the signs of readiness are evident often creates unnecessary struggles that could have been avoided in the first place. Oftentimes, undoing the effects of these struggles in and of themselves is a daunting task that can drain your joy quicker than you ever expected. All this might feel like common sense, but we as humans are a curious species, adding stress to our lives until we're old and gray. Living above our means, for instance, or stressing over ailments that end up being nothing. So, here's one. Stay clear of the comparison trap. Don't worry that your neighbor's kid reads fluently at 3 years old. Maybe the same reading savant is still sucking their thumbs and can't sleep with the lights off. Everyone has issues, so I'll say it one more time. Stop comparing. Teaching your child to read is a beautiful experience they will remember for a lifetime. Starting slightly later, when those foundation skills look like they are finally beginning to align themselves, will feel right for both of you. So if you're wondering whether your child is ready to learn to read, look beyond age or comparison. Watch for curiosity, attention span, how they play with language, their confidence. These quiet signs often tell the real story. Now, would it help you if you knew exactly what to look for? Something to keep track of your keen observations? Well, I would be delighted to assist you with a free reading readiness checklist designed specifically for parents who are excited to start teaching their child to read, but question whether it's the right time. The link is in the description below. Remember that your success means everything to me. I'm here to encourage and empower you every step of the way. Until then, stay wonderful, and I'll see you again soon.